Hello, everyone. Welcome. It has been a day and a half and a whole year. It feels like in the past 24 hours. But welcome to Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And ladies, we are the Black Coffee. Our lips drip with honey. Sometimes we got a little grit, and I think we're going to have to really get lots of grits going right now. But we always have some Sass Class and all that ass. I will let the ladies introduce themselves, and then I'll come back around to me, starting with Carmel.
I am Carmel. I am your whole food, plant based, vegan, and fitness nutrition coach. And I'm working with those who have come to realize that they might have a sugar addiction or food addiction. And I work with them in adapting a whole food, plant based lifestyle in order to combat and reverse that condition. So, with that, add more plates to your plate, people. Dr. Jemecia, the mic is yours.
Hey, y'all, I'm Dr. Jemecia, the nurse practitioner extraordinaire. I'm also your intermittent fasting and mindset coach, YouTube influencer, speaker, author, all the things. And I'm one third of these lovely ladies, Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. And you're going to get some grits from me tonight. Sorry.
My name is Maisha, also known online as Debbie Maisha, and I am a sacred sexuality coach and teacher of sex magic. And we're going to talk about, of course, we are the election, post-election results. We just talked about it a little bit on Monday, but now I'm just gonna pass the mic to the ladies. How are y'all doing? How are you feeling? What's happening?
I'm going to go because I feel like I've been holding my breath all day long today.
Come on.
Listen, I'm not feeling good about the results. You guys know I wanted Kamala Harris to win. I did not feel like I could deal with the results. I'm going to, of course, deal with them. I'm an adult. However, I feel like I can't breathe. I know that God is ultimately in control, or whomever you call your person, but God for me is in control. However, it makes me sad. The results do, because it says to me that the masses, we the people, would prefer him over having a Black woman in charge. And I think, to me, it says, I don't care what else is there. I don't want a Black woman in charge. Mm-hmm. That's what it says to me. That's what I think it reveals in a lot of people. And I feel like it's a slap in the face. I'm very disappointed. And I know there are some people who didn't vote. I'm like, that's a vote. A no vote is a vote. So yes. I feel like, again, like I'm holding my breath. But again, I know that God is in control, and there's something to be learned from this. I'd like to learn the lesson real soon, because I'm just feeling some kind of way. I feel like I'm going to be walking on eggshells for a while.
Yeah. I'll go further and say that this country isn't ready for a woman. The statistics when Hillary ran weren't too far off from Kamala. Mm-hmm. And really a lot of it came down to white women who did not, I mean, Hillary got more of their vote, but they almost half and half voted for him when she ran. Mm-hmm. And this time, more than half of them voted for her. I mean, white women was a non-starter. That wasn't going to happen. We all knew that. Yeah. But if anyone's looking at, well, who could have decided differently? For sure, it was partly them, and Latino men. Over 50% of them voted for Donald Trump. So that says a lot about not just Black women, but women in general, and how people are not ready for a woman to lead in this country, and they would rather have a white man, no matter who that white man is or what he's done, in office. And that's saying a lot. Carmel, what are your thoughts on it?
That does say a lot. And when she first announced that she was running for president, that was the first thing that I thought about. I was just like, America is not ready But as her campaign went on, and I felt the excitement for her. And just these last few weeks, when it just seemed like, oh no, it's not going to happen. Last night, I just said a prayer, woke up, and I didn't want to watch. I didn't want to watch. But when I woke up and I heard the news, I wanted to go back to bed and just wake up and find out again, like, am I dreaming? What kind of nightmare is this? And I felt defeated. I felt lost. I'm terrified what might happen in these next 4 years. And then I thought to myself, well, there's a bigger picture to everything that happens. And just like what you were saying, Dr. Jemecia, where's the lesson in this? What's the lesson? What are we as a people, as a nation, supposed to learn from this? And we might not know today. We might not know in 3 years. We might not know in 4 years. But there's something to be said for what's happening. And I'm just hoping, just like Maisha, I saw your post yesterday. I think it was on Instagram, and you were like, no matter what happens, I'm going to take care of me. And I'm just going to have to fall back on that. But it's just still, it's just, I feel the loss. I do.
Yeah. And so the statistics are this. The men who voted for Kamala were 43% men, 54% men for him. Females, 54% females, 44% for him. Caucasian, 43% for her and 55% for him. Blacks, 86% for her, 12% for him. Latino, Hispanic, 53% for her, 45% for him. Asians, 55% for her, 39% for him. Other, 41% for her and 55% for him. The age breakdown, 65 and over, 50% were for her and 49% were for him. As far as college educated, 57% for her, 40% for him. Non-college educated, 43% for her and 55% for him. So, yeah, that's just what I got on the demographics from the provisional national data. And that was yesterday's polls.
Yeah, I've seen some different variations of those floating around, some with more or less or the same. Some comments over on my Facebook page. Coco, hey Coco. She said, for me, the lesson in this is an assessment of what I really want for me, my community, and what part do I desire to play. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm definitely going live later in my community to talk about this from the spiritual metaphysical aspect of it, because there is this spirit of fear that a lot of people are, and understandably so, but there's a spirit of fear of, oh no, this is the end. Everything is going to fall apart. Everything is in my whole life is going to be rearranged. And the short answer to that is yes, it is. And it has to, is my take on it. It has to. While I am not a fan of this man by any means, this country has spoken about where it wants to go and what it wants to be like. Mm-hmm. And we, especially we as Black women, and I saw somebody else posted it too, like there's this idea that we have about saving people. And I've said it many times. We are, as individuals and as women, we are not here to save anybody. And this country must sink. It has to, in order for change to actually happen. And that makes us very uncomfortable as Americans. We want peaceful change. We want it to shift without the pain of shifting. That has never in the history happened in any culture and in any society. So when I say to my community, and when we talk about it and we say be prepared, it's not from a space of live in fear. It's really from a space of be prepared, because the shifts that are going to happen in this country are not going to be for the benefit of Black folks. And Black folks are going to have to decide if we're going to keep trying to live under systems that our abusers have created, when they time and time again show us how much they don't like us. Mm-hmm. Or if we are going to actively create something new and different, which will require a lot of shifting and uncomfortability for many of us. Right?
Yeah, true, so true. For me, I don't. There's no fear. I'm pissed and I'm sad about the state of affairs. There's this arrogance and air that I felt today that I'm just like, I'm just not up for it. I'm just not up for it. I'm just not. And I just need to keep walking in prayer, because otherwise, I just feel like it's just, I'm just disappointed. I'm just really disappointed.
Disappointed. Yeah. Yeah. I was walking around today and I was just looking at everybody, and I'm like, disappointed in us. Yeah.
I'll be honest. There's no, it's not that I don't care. I'm unbothered in the sense that there's nothing that happened here that is shocking. Like, Black people voted for her. We did. There is no more way that our vote could have counted. We are this much of the population. 13% of the population. Out of that 13%, how many of us can actually vote, right? So we showed up, and we voted. It is white people. White people. So I'm not like, and even while I don't like Trump, he's there because white people want him there.
Yeah.
It's not that we didn't vote for her.
No, right. Well, initially I was like, what the heck? Because this would be different if we came out and we voted, right? Until, of course, I saw some numbers. Now, as far as I don't know who did what. I don't, but I know we voted him in. We, as a collective, as people, voted him in. And Carmel's having some difficulty here. We'll get her back on. But it's like I said, it's a slap in the face, and it shows me where I'm at, what I'm dealing with, who we're dealing with, and we've got some work to do. We've got some work to do, because there shouldn't have been there shouldn't have been anyone of color on that side of the fence. Shouldn't have been, to me, because of what he stands for. But people feel and think and do the way they feel and think and do. And I want to continue to feel and think and do the same way. However, I don't know that I'll have that privilege as much as I feel like I used to. And maybe it was an illusion. I don't know. So.
And maybe that's the part of the thing that really needs to be broken for us, is the idea that, I've seen the statistics and the breakdown. Again, 92% of Black women came out and voted for her. Really, that's a lot. Right? That's a lot. Almost 80% of Black men came out and voted for her.
Yeah.
Over 50% of white men, over 50% of white women, and over 50% of Latino men said, this is the man that we want to run our country. He aligns with our values. He aligns with the way we speak. That man could not be in office if there were people who did not agree with him. There are people in this country who agree with that. And I think that is the heartbreak that we as Black people need to just understand. Right? That,
and when you talk about fear, it is not our fear.
No,
it is their fear.
No.
Yes, absolutely.
That brought them.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is why I don't call it white supremacy. I call it the white inferiority complex, because there is a fear of inferiority that exists. I say it all the time. I say it out loud. Y'all see me saying it now. That exists particularly within white men, that also filters through to their women, because their women are concerned with their sons. And as much as we are such a kumbaya people, we really are. We just want to embrace everybody. We have to understand that individuals might be okay, but as a collective, this is what they would rather have. And I need us to really understand that individuals might be okay, but as a collective, they would rather have a convicted felon in office. And some of our men still can't vote because they're
And I
convicted
think
felons.
And I think that's where the disappointment lies. And I think that's where the fear lies, in knowing that we live in a culture where they still don't want us around. No matter how much we're celebrated, no matter how much we're part of the meeting at the boardroom, we're sitting at the table, we're doing the things, we are their colleagues and their friends, and we're marrying into their families, and coloring their bloodline. Like it's still there's still this. And so yesterday, one of my clients called, and before he asked me anything about his job, he asked me if I voted, and I'm like, of course. Did you? He says yes. And he says, did you vote for Kamala? And I thought that was very direct, but I had nothing to hide. I said yes. He said, you want to live in a Kamala world? And so that was so telling. He didn't say anything about anybody's values. He just, point blank simple. Carmel, I like you. You get my job done. I trust you to get my job done. But I don't want to live under your leadership.
Right. You're do the job, but don't lead. Like, come on, like, understand your role in your lane, okay? But don't try to like do all this here. Now, a lot of people, their thing for him, those who said that they did not, those who voted for him, who did not align with him, said they did so because of the economy. And I've been, I don't watch a lot of news, but today I have been watching, and what it seems like is that the Democratic Party, and this is just what it is, clearly did not do a good job of conveying that to folks. Right? That obviously the results show that for whatever reason, he did a good job of connecting with people who have been suffering in this economy. There was an underestimation of how many people were not a fan of the Biden administration, apparently. And there was not enough space and time because of the way things happened, for her to separate herself from that or speak to that. And maybe she could have or should have, hindsight and all that business. But the bottom line is the results clearly show, if it's like sales, right? The results clearly show he connected with people in a way that has them believing that he's going to save them, whether he does it or not. Whatever he said connected with them. And that is something, right, Coco, right? Because really, the president doesn't really determine the price of goods in that way. But the idea that people think the president does is also telling about how much people know about their government and what the government can and can't do. Right? So that's what people think is going to happen, that he's going to come in and, eggs and milk are going to go down, gas prices are going to go down. And even my 19-year-old son was like, do they not understand how much the tariffs are going to be, how much he's going to charge? I'm like, sir, you're having conversations that a lot of adults haven't even had.
Right.
Yeah. Right. But people aren't, they're looking short term because they're still looking for someone to save them, which that's a whole nother issue.
It is a whole nother issue. And we're just here post-election. Again, like I said, I am exhausted. I'm exhausted having the conversation. I'm exhausted thinking about it. I'm exhausted trying to catch my breath from the whole day. I've had some interesting patient interactions. And I'm just really over it. I'm again, my word for the day is disappointed.
Yeah.
That's really all I've got.
Coco says, rest, sis, rest.
Yeah. And a drink.
And a drink would be good. If we walk away from this with anything, I really actually want people to not be afraid, to know that all is well and all is going to be well. And
Oh, yeah.
that us living in fear will prevent the shift that we want to happen, because we can't create new systems from fear. We need to actually just take time to be pissed. I'm not
Yeah.
saying don't be angry, right? But
Yeah.
but for us to just take a breather and get in community, really get in community, but release the fear so that we don't continue to build more of it. So I'll just leave it at that.
You know what, Maisha, I don't know that I think we're more pissed than anything, honestly. I don't know that we're fearful as much. I know some of us,
I've seen some comments. That's why I'm saying that. I've seen people like, my job is going to be taken away. Now everything is going to be this, and this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. I'm like, let's not speak all that into you. Channel the anger, right? And anger can often be the cover for fear, but channel the anger. But let's take a breather. I have seen quite a bit of fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, even to Carmel's point, she was mentioning that as well, and I'm just saying, all is well, and it will be well, even if we don't understand.
You know what? I feel that too. I
Thank
feel
you.
like what's happened has happened. Now we got to put our big girl panties on and keep it moving, and protect self, or look out for our community, our loved ones, etc. Play
Yeah.
it smart. And so I do feel like all is well. This is the initial shock of it. It's really like it's glaring where America still is, and how much we have not grown. So that's one of the things of it, just dealing with the shock of it, and then all will settle, and we'll see that we're okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to say this, because you mentioned America growing, and again, my youngest son brought up this point again. So technology has moved very quickly, and I think in our minds we think that we're advancing because technology is advancing. We're not. Technology is advancing. 100 years ago, what is this, 2024? It was 1924. 100 years ago. What was the world like for us 100 years ago? Right? We were just coming out of an agricultural age into a more industrial age as of the late 1800s. In terms of how we operate as Americans, no, not much has changed at all. The 1964, less than 100 years ago, the Civil Rights, the Voting Rights Act was passed. Not much has changed at all. And I know for some of us, we thought because Barack Obama got in there, it signified change. I don't know how that happened. And I'm grateful that it did, because it breaks up the white faces on the wall. But really, this country has not advanced mentally. It has not advanced racially. It has not advanced with all of the isms. It just looks like it because our news cycle is so fast.
And I think that might be one of the lessons in all of this, for us to kind of like get this wake up call. Hello, people.
Yes.
We're not there yet, right?
Right.
We have a generation of children that think it's normal for a Black man to be president,
Right.
where it's not. Just like you said, how did that happen? It happened. We're happy that it did. But the same generation of children have no clue why this is such a big deal that Kamala didn't win, right? And so perhaps this is one of the lessons in that, a wake-up call for us to kind of see we have some work to do, and it's going to be, and it might not be in our time. Like, the change that needs to happen will be for our children and our grandchildren to handle, deal with, and see to fruition.
Yeah, and I know we're getting ready to get off, but what you just said, Carmel, and if folks haven't seen her concession speech, that's part of what she said. And this is, again, it's a long-term game. And what I want the young people to know is to not be discouraged. To the Carmel, to your point, don't give up, and that's what happens with every generation. It seems like it's going to shift, and then something happens, and they go, "Oh, forget it." And then the same thing keeps happening for the next 20 to 40 years. We really just have to stay the course, and it again, we might not see it. And but that's what Dr. King was saying about the mountaintop. He's like, I'm not going to see it.
Right. And like Coco said, we are the ones we've been waiting for.
I love that quote from Barack Obama. It is one of my favorite quotes. And Maurice, hey Maurice. Yes, this is an extreme wake-up call for us to realize what we do with our money is the only real choice we have. Listen, we could be on here for a long time because I'll tell you this: when Tamir Rice was gunned down, or is it Trayvon Martin? I went live, and I was literally like in tears, like, let all mothers just stop shopping for a day. Let us all just not shop. How about that? Let us empty out the malls and not be there and actually show this country the power we have. Black people have to be willing to do that. Yeah. We have to be willing to not buy one more Nike, one more Prada, one more Gucci, one more, I don't know what it is, but we have to be willing to not do that, to show this country how serious we are. And until that happens,
I don't think we're ready for it.
We're not ready for it. We don't want to give that up. We don't want to give it up yet. But until we have that type of resilience that they had with the Montgomery bus boycott, until we're willing to walk for a year for what we want.
I don't think we have people like that. And like, there's
I don't think we do
those,
either.
those
I don't think we do either.
Because
we don't whip out the credit card. Is everybody willing to cancel Netflix and Disney? Are we willing to do that?
We are so privileged. We're blinded. Like,
yeah,
we're literally blind to what's happening because we sit in this luxury and privilege, and we could do what they do.
Right. I'm with you. So until we hit them in the pockets, I'm just letting y'all know, you cannot legislate morality. You cannot legislate people treating you with kindness. We have tried it. There are laws in the books. The Bill of Rights are there, and yet and still this man is still in office. So until we decide to use our wallet, because that's the only, this country understands two things. It understands war and money. And unless we're willing to go to war, which we're not, because we don't have that type of backing. Shout out to the Black Panthers who are willing to do it. Since we don't have that anymore and people aren't willing to do that, the only thing we have left is, as Maurice said, our wallet. And what are we willing to give up until this country says, if we don't give them Negroes what they want, this country's going to go to hell. So please make a change. So that's it. 10-point plan, Coco said. Ladies, do y'all have anything to
have nothing. Nothing else.
No, ma'am.
Well, thank y'all for joining us. See, that's why I tell people, I've been telling them all day, we have the power. Literally, we still have the power. No one can take your power away from you. They really can't. Because as long as you have a card in your wallet or a bank account, you have a lot more power than you think you do. And until you decide to exercise that power in a way that speaks for what you truly want, the system actually will continue the way it does. That's just the way this country operates, whether we like it or not. So please go in peace, love, and power. As Coco said, know that we will continue to fight as we always have. We are resilient. We've been on this continent before slavery. We're going to be here after this country does whatever it does. So thank you all for being here for another episode of Black Coffee, Honey, and Grits. We will see y'all on Friday. God, it feels like Friday already. We will see y'all on Friday. Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.